Eintracht Frankfurt just won't give up on Newcastle's William Osula, and the shocking reason they're pushing for a January loan could completely change the 22-year-old's trajectory. Sources confirm contact with his management remains ongoing, and this move could define whether the Danish striker becomes a cult hero at St James's or just another what-if story. What's up, Toon Army? This is NUFC Quick News, your source for raw black and white passion. Buckle up, because what I'm about to reveal about William Osula's future isn't what the mainstream media is telling you. Let's get into it. Here's what's actually happening behind the scenes, and trust me, this is the story no one else is breaking down properly. William Osula is in the most peculiar position imaginable at Newcastle United right now. The 22-year-old Danish striker signed from Sheffield United in August 2024, and after Alexander Isak's British record £125 million move to Liverpool on deadline day in September 2025, you'd think Osula would be getting more opportunities. But here's the reality. Eddie Howe went out and smashed Newcastle's transfer record twice in one window. First came Nick Woltemade from VfB Stuttgart for £69 million, then Yoane Wissa from Brentford for £55 million. On the same deadline day Isak left. The club was not messing around. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Wissa picked up a nasty knee injury, playing for DR Congo in his first international break after signing. 8 weeks out. He still hasn't made his Newcastle debut. And suddenly, the entire attacking plan collapsed before it even started. Here's the question that's splitting the Toon Army right now. With Wissa injured and Woltemade still adapting, why isn't Osula starting every week? Let me paint you the full picture. Osula has 3 goals and 1 assist in 9 appearances this season. Not bad for a player who barely gets starting opportunities, right? He scored his first goal for Newcastle in the FA Cup against Bromley back in January 2025. Then bagged his first Premier League goal against Ipswich Town in April, a powerful header from a Kieran Trippier corner. The kid can finish. But here's where it gets really interesting. Eintracht Frankfurt, yes, that same Bundesliga side currently leaking goals like a broken tap, missed out on signing Osula on deadline day in September. They tried. They pushed hard, and now they're back for more. Contact with Osula's management hasn't stopped. It's ongoing. Frankfurt's sporting director Markus Krösche, the same man who just sold Hugo Ekitike to Liverpool for up to €95 million, after developing him for 18 months, sees something special in our 22-year-old. Think about that for a second. Frankfurt sold Ekitike to Liverpool this summer after he banged in 15 Bundesliga goals last season. Before that, they made bank on Omar Marmoush to Manchester City in January 2025. And before that, Randal Kolo Muani went to PSG for €95 million. This is a club that knows how to develop strikers and sell them for massive profit. Frankfurt have conceded 16 goals in just 6 league games this season, and another 6 in 2 Champions League matches. Their defensive record is atrocious. So why are they chasing a striker who can't get games at Newcastle? Simple, they believe in what Osula brings. Energy, pace, hunger, the kind of raw directness that can turn games on their head. And here's what the media won't tell you. They're not asking to buy him. They want a loan. A development loan where Osula can play 25 to 30 games, score double digits, and come back to Newcastle as a completely different animal. But wait, what about Newcastle's side of this story? Does letting Osula leave even make sense? Let's look at the current situation. Nick Woltemade arrived as Newcastle's club record signing at £69 million. He's 23, he's 6'6", and he's already got 4 goals in his first handful of games. The kid is massive literally and figuratively. He scored on his debut against Wolves, netted in the Champions League thrashing of Union Saint-Gilloise, and just bagged a penalty against Nottingham Forest. Bayern Munich are furious they missed out on him. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge even called Newcastle idiots for paying that much. But Eddie Howe, he brushed it off. Said the transfer fee is absolutely irrelevant and that Woltemade has been brilliant. So Woltemade is the starter now, no question. Yoane Wissa, when he finally gets fit, will be the proven Premier League option. The man scored 19 league goals for Brentford last season. He's 29, he's experienced, and he cost £55 million. Eddie Howe didn't shell out that kind of money to keep him on the bench. Now here's where it gets really interesting. What does Eddie Howe actually think about all this? Howe has been complimentary about Osula in press conferences, calling him a valuable squad option, but the reality is brutal. When your third-choice striker at a club competing in the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup, and you're 22 years old, you're not developing. You're surviving. Osula needs minutes, not cameo appearances, not garbage time substitutions, real game time. Frankfurt can offer him exactly that. They play attacking football under Dino Topmuller, they're in the Europa League, and they have a track record that speaks for itself. Look at what they did with Kolo Muani before PSG paid €95 million. Look at Luka Jovic before Real Madrid came calling. Look at Marmoush before Man City snatched him up. Look at Ekitike before Liverpool paid £82 million. The evidence is clear. Frankfurt know how to turn raw talent into elite-level strikers. Let me ask you something directly. If you were running Newcastle United, what would you do with William Osula? Because here's the real dilemma. Newcastle paid around £10.15 million for Osula. He's under contract until June 2029, so there's no rush to sell. But his value only increases if he plays. If he sits on the bench all season while Woltermaid and Wissa share the load, his market value stagnates. Worse, his confidence could tank. A loan to Frankfurt could be exactly what Newcastle need to protect their investment. Let him shine in Germany, let him bag goals in the Bundesliga and Europa League, then bring him back next summer when he's worth double what we paid. That's smart business. And let's be honest about the squad dynamics. Osula hasn't kicked up a fuss. He hasn't gone to the media complaining about game time. He's been a total professional, working hard in training, contributing when called upon, and supporting his teammates. That's the kind of character you want in your squad. But it's also the kind of character that deserves a chance to shine. Here's what no one is talking about. The timing is perfect for both clubs. Frankfurt desperately need goals. Their defense is a mess, but they believe in outscoring opponents. They need a hungry young striker who can press from the front, make runs in behind, and finish chances. Osula ticks every box. Newcastle, meanwhile, are in a weird spot. Woltermaid is playing well but dealing with a flu-like infection that kept him out of Germany duty this week. Wissa won't be back until mid to late October, at the earliest maybe even November, based on the latest reports. And the fixture list is brutal. But here's the thing. Newcastle also have Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes who can play centrally if needed. They've got options. They're not desperate for Osula the way they were when Isak was the only recognised striker last season. If I had to predict what happens, I think Newcastle will demand certain conditions, maybe a loan with NO option to buy, maybe a recall clause in January if injuries pile up, maybe Frankfurt have to cover 100% of his wages, but I think this move happens. And honestly, it could be exactly what William Osula needs to fulfill his potential. Think about it. Osula goes to Frankfurt, plays in the Bundesliga week in and week out, learns from one of Europe's best sporting directors, develops his game in a high-intensity league, and comes back to Newcastle in summer 2026 as a 2-3-year-old with a full season of top-flight experience under his belt. That's when he can challenge for a starting spot. That's when his value skyrockets. That's when Newcastle either have an elite backup striker or a player they can sell for massive profit. The only risk? Frankfurt do what they do best, turn him into a star, and then another giant club comes knocking with £50.60 million. But if Newcastle are smart, they'll structure the loan with zero buy options and full control over his future. Before we wrap up, let me know in the comments, should Newcastle loan Osula to Frankfurt in January, or is keeping him essential for our depth? I'm reading every single comment from the Toon Army, so don't hold back. Smash that like button if you think this Frankfurt move could be huge for Osula's development, and drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading every comment from the Toon Army. This is a decision that could shape the next 5 years of our attacking options, so your voice matters. Until next time, stay proud, stay loud, and always keep the faith. How are the lads?